So we're going to touch upon. Initially, we're going to talk about what's going on in the esports ecosystem, vis-a-vis gamers, creators, tournament organizers, brands. Or feel free to talk about. Yes, please have your waters together. I think we're so much in sync. Fabulous, and well, we'll also have great aligned conversation. So moving forward. I'm going to ask both of you all questions that are common. You all can decide who wants to pick their perspective. And maybe Nimish can start, Chetan, and maybe Chetan later on. Yeah, we can take it accordingly. So one of the hot topics has been in esports with the year gone by on the stress that everyone's faced on the bans and unbans, right? Uh, I do believe the industry was impacted from gamer perspective, creator perspective, tournament organizer perspective, brands, sponsors, publishers, everyone's perspective, because BGMI was a big game. Having said that, we're also, it's back, and hopefully Free Fire is going to be back soon. Uh, what was the impact when the ban took place, and what was the impact post the comeback of the first game as well? So maybe you can share your perspectives, please.
सो लाइक हम जब गेम बैन हुआ था उससे पहले की बात करते हैं. तब स्पोर्ट्स में काफ़ी मतलब अच्छी चीज़ें हो रही थी कि लाइक इवेंट हो रहे थे एंड व्यूवरशिप आ रही थी. लाइक एक गेम की बात नहीं है, वैलोरेंट भी अच्छा कर रहा था. वैलोरेंट बैन नहीं हुआ बट जब बीजीएमआई वगैरह बैन हुआ तब वैलोरेंट को थोड़ा अच्छा पीक मिला था, व्यूवरशिप में हो या फिर टूर्नामेंट वगैरह हो. तो जब लाइक जो स्पोर्ट्स का ग्राफ था जैसे बीजीएमआई बैन होने से पहले, तो वो थोड़ा ऐसा ऊपर जा रहा था, तो एकदम से ऐसे रुक गया. एंड उसके बाद फिर वही कि यार अब क्या होगा, गेम आएगी नहीं आएगी, क्योंकि गॉड लाइक में ऐसा था कि एक गेम पे डिपेंड नहीं थे हम. काफ़ी गेम्स में हमारी टीम्स थी, कॉडेम है या फिर फीफा हो गया या फिर बाकी गेम्स भी है, वैलोरेंट है. तो हमारा एक गेम पे डिपेंड नहीं था. बट जो मेजर गेम है जैसे व्यूअरशिप इंडिया में ई स्पोर्ट्स क्या है या फिर गेम की फ़ैन फॉलोइंग भी क्या हो सकती है, तो ये सब कुछ था तब. तो जब बैन हुआ तो एकदम से व्यूअरशिप गिर गए. ब्रांड जो इंडोर्स करते थे हम, तो उसमें थोड़ा कम हो गए. थोड़े फाइनेंशियल प्रॉब्लम्स चालू हो गए. तो बट फिर भी हमने उसको लाइक कवर कर लिया. क्या ऐसा था कि ऑफिशियल से हमारा बात होता था, तो ऐसा था कि गेम आने वाली है बट पता नहीं था कब आएगी. 1 मंथ 2 मंथ 2 ईयर लगे थे. तो वो सस्टेन करना वो काफ़ी मुश्किल टफ था हमारे लिए, बट हमने मैनेज कर लिया था.
Great, great. Nimish,
I think uh, I can share my personal experience. I think we were at the highest point in the Indian esports ecosystem because we just did the BGMS season 1. So for the first time, the game went on television. We kind of changed the perception of what it stands for, not just to the fans and team owners, but also like to brands, media agencies, the overall ecosystem. Everyone's very happy that the viewership on TV was also quite at par with some of the other sports. And then literally, I guess in 2 weeks after that, the game got banned.
Right.
So I think we kind of went right up there, and we were waiting, and everyone's hoping that now suddenly the teams will start making money. The ecosystem will now suddenly see influx of investments beyond just VC money, and then it was just a waiting game for a period of 1 year, close to 1 year. But as Cronton said, right, I think for us, even at Nodwin, we're not game agnostic like that. So right, so for us, we did Valorant, we did a little bit of Counter Strike, we looked at Call of Duty Mobile. We went beyond gaming, of course, as a company. So we do subculture of video games. So we do a lot of music stuff. We do a lot of fashion stuff. Some of the influencers, in fact, we worked with a lot of the Godlike team members on a regular basis as well. So I think we all kind of hold on to it for some time, hoping the game will make a comeback. It's made a comeback, and now again, we basically rebuilding it all over again,
Oh, really?
and let's see how it goes.
Yeah, I guess people would have moved to other avenues and other games. So, do you think during the ban, other games got great opportunity to speed up and be replaced, or not really?
Surprisingly, I feel like India is extremely loyal to one particular genre in that sense. I really thought that when the game was taken away for some time, that people will switch to other games, which they did.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it was more for entertainment. It was more for, okay, I know that the game's going to make a comeback. Till the time it comes back, I'll play something else. The switch never really happened at a competitive level or at a career level. So if you ask some of the big BGMI players, like, would you switch to any other game competitively? The answer was always pretty much a no, because I think it's like telling a cricketer, if you can't play cricket, why don't you go play football? And I think that's what people need to understand, that switching games, it's easy to play them as a content creator, but at a competitive level, it's
Yeah,
not that
that
easy.
becomes absolutely,
So
absolutely.
hats off to all the players who stuck around, all the team owners who continued to pay salaries and make sure that the hope was kept alive. I think as tournament organizers, we owe it to them, because they did keep playing the game, so they were kind of up to date with what's happening. Of course, nobody could download the game.
Yeah.
And when the game made a comeback, I think we see the numbers now. I think we're like, what, 30, 40 million odd monthly active users. We just finished BGMS season 2. We got great response today. Our friends at Sky are doing another one in Bangalore. There's another one scheduled immediately after that. There's something really cool that
Yeah,
we
I
are planning in
guess
December.
the
So
place is absolutely up and running since then, I guess. So,
yeah, it
yes,
is. I would say not to the pace that we thought it would, but there
it's
are
picking up.
tournaments happening. Yeah.
Great. So, talking about competitive players right now, and I was wondering what are the career opportunities, right, for competitive players versus content creators, and what is the scene like given situation today? Where are they headed? What's happening in the country, and how much opportunity is there for further growth?
सो लाइक अभी अगर हम बात करें कि बाहर का स्पोर्ट्स जो सीन है वो काफ़ी वेल इस्टेब्लिश है, बट इंडिया में अभी ये सारी चीज़ें ग्रोइंग है, यहाँ पे काफ़ी सारे रूल्स रेगुलेशंस आने हैं। तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि अभी इंडिया में तो ये हो गया है कि हाँ, गेमिंग भी एक करियर अपॉर्चुनिटी बन सकता है, क्योंकि आपने देखा होगा गॉड लाइक स्पोर्ट्स में काफ़ी ऐसे क्रिएटर है या फिर सब मतलब काफ़ी अच्छा मनी अर्न करते हैं इतना कम एज में वो भी। तो मुझे लगता है फ्यूचर में जब इस पे सारे रूल्स रेगुलेशंस आ जाएंगे इंडिया में, जो कि आने वाले हैं, जैसे बिहार गवर्नमेंट अच्छा कर रही है, यूपी गवर्नमेंट अच्छा कर रही है, रूल्स रेगुलेशंस ला रही है, स्पोर्ट्स के अंडर आ गया है अभी स्पोर्ट्स। तो मुझे लग रहा है कि फ्यूचर में जब ये सारी चीज़ें हो जाएगी तो क्रिएटर है या फिर प्लेयर्स है काफ़ी अच्छा करेंगे। और मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि एक एक जो क्रिएटर होते हैं उनका लाइफ लाइन तो चलो थोड़ा ज़्यादा हो सकता है, बट ई स्पोर्ट्स प्लेयर्स का उनको थोड़ा सोचना पड़ता है, क्योंकि आपने देखा होगा काफ़ी टीम शफल होती है, या फिर जैसे गेम बैन था तो कितनी सारी टीम्स डिसबैंड हो गए एकदम से, काफ़ी कम टीम्स थी जिन्होंने कंटिन्यू करा। तो मतलब बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं कि प्लान कर सकते हैं उनके रेवेन्यूज़ के लिए, या फिर जैसे हम गॉड लाइक में भी हमने एक हमारे क्रिएटर के लिए एक प्रोग्राम बनाया कि जैसे अगर वो मान के चलो स्पोर्ट्स प्लेयर्स नहीं रहेंगे तो फ्यूचर में कैसे अर्न करेंगे थ्रू गेमिंग, वो तो मैं डिस्कस नहीं कर सकता। तो मतलब ऐसे कुछ प्लान्स हैं हमारे कि जैसे, क्योंकि हर एक अलग अलग स्टेट से आता है या सिटी, ऐसा नहीं कि सब मुंबई से है या कुछ, तो हमने कुछ ऐसा एक गेमिंग के रिलेटेड प्लान करा है कि अगर फ्यूचर में तो ये नहीं करता है तो तुझे ये करना है, तो इससे थोड़ा गेमिंग इकोसिस्टम में भी
Sure.
हेल्प हो जाएगा और तेरे लिए रेवेन्यू भी बन जाएगा, मतलब ये भी सारी चीज़ है।
Right. Great.
I think just to add to what Cronton said, right, the avenues are plenty. Like when I did my first esports slash gaming event, I was way back in Red Bull, 2012. We used to literally borrow like consoles back in the day from somebody. People would give us like product and be like, please give it back to us after the event. So from 2012 to now 2023, we've come a long way with massive price pool. So everything looks very nice on the surface of people think that we make a lot of money. We do, but it's a lot of hard work. And but it's like any other industry, right? For every five people who are successful, there is a plethora of people who actually work behind it to be successful as well. So uh, it's the same philosophy, right? You have to work hard. You have to be serious about what you want to do. This is not like some magic, bean where you don't have to work hard to make the money, right? Like some of these content creators spend hours trying to figure out what next content they should shoot.
Yeah.
Some of them don't have a personal life because they get bombarded when they go outside because they're like mini celebrities, right? They can't literally go out and have coffee like normal people, and so you sacrifice a lot of your personal stuff to achieve what you want to achieve. That's obviously from a philosophical side of it. From an industry side of it, uh, there is a little bit of a winter globally as well. See, India as a market has always been an exception because we kind of try to imitate the West, but we kind of created our own little bubble, that bubble is still there very much. You look at America, you look at Europe right now. Uh, a lot of restructuring is happening with esports teams, with tournament organizers. Uh, the kind of growth that a lot of people thought pure esports would show in terms of viewership and in terms of uh, just the opportunity to monetize has happened, but not to the scale that it could have happened. COVID's gone away, which means now we are competing with mainstream sports. Remember, a gamer is not just a gamer, right? A gamer is still a girl and a boy. They have other hobbies, they have other interests. Yes, they love video games, but they also love music, they also love fashion, they also love cricket, football, depending on which part of the world you come from. So now you're competing with mainstream. This is the best time for anyone to be in this industry because we are no longer a basement phenomena. Like, we are mainstream now. Like esports is mainstream. We need When I go and talk to brands today, I get compared to a U2 fan fest or a music concert or a possible ad campaign with the IPL, and it makes me very proud. Like we've reached that point where people are actually considering us at the same level as some of these marquee and massive
Sports.
properties. So those kind of things are extremely positive. But the onus is on us as an industry to make sure that we deliver what we promise. There is very clear stagnant when it comes to viewership. There is a clear, work that needs to be done at grassroots level esports. Today we have a bunch of BGMI players across the country. Every year, more and more people keep playing. But like any other sport, there is an infrastructure in place where I know what I need to do as a cricketer to reach where I need to reach.
Right.
Now that to get established in esports will take some time. We are only a 4-year-old sport in this country. Esports is maybe around 10 years old globally. In India, I think Ronton can back me up here. The actual money really started coming in just before COVID. So we are very, very young, right now. And it's like one of those things, like we are the pretty boy in the family where the expectation is like, oh, this guy is going to make the family rich, but it's going to take some time, right? So give us some time. I think another 5-6 years more, I guess we'll be sitting in a forum with a much bigger platform and a much bigger discussion about, oh, how are you going to compete with the IPL eventually, hopefully.
Absolutely. We're all in this together. We're all here in the gaming space. We're just as positive. Anything that goes well for all of us. So to all of us, absolutely. Say Cronton.
सो लाइक अगर आप बाकी स्पोर्ट्स के रिलेटेड अनाउंसमेंट भी देखोगे, सऊदी ने वर्ल्ड कप अनाउंस किया स्पोर्ट्स का, जहाँ पे फीफा वर्ल्ड कप हुआ था वहाँ पे ई स्पोर्ट्स वर्ल्ड कप होने वाला है। तो ये कितनी बड़ी अचीवमेंट है, मतलब मेरे लिए तो ये एक बहुत बड़ी अचीवमेंट है कि इंडिया भी देखेगा यार, बाहर की कंट्रीज स्पोर्ट्स को लेके इतना सीरियस है, इतना सारी चीज़ें कर रही है। उन्होंने गेमिंग हब बनाया है, अराउंड आई थिंक 38 बिलियन समथिंग कुछ इन्वेस्ट किया है सऊदी गवर्नमेंट ने। तो इवन दो अभी इंडिया में भी काफ़ी स्पोर्ट्स को लेकर, क्योंकि काफ़ी लोगों से बात होती है हमारी जो गवर्नमेंट के रिलेटेड हो, तो वो बताते हैं कि स्पोर्ट्स को थोड़ा सीरियस ले रहे हैं। और जो इंडिया में भी स्पोर्ट्स है ना, मुझे लगता है 20-30% भी नहीं है, टू बी ऑनेस्ट।
Okay.
व्यूवरशिप अगर आप देखोगे पहले जो फैंस आते थे लैन इवेंट में वगैरह, तो अभी लोग उसके लिए पे करके भी आते हैं कि नहीं हमें देखना है। अभी जैसे स्काई में अगर आप देखोगे, लोगों को लगता है कि यार फ्री में चाहिए था मोनेटाइजेशन, नहीं चाहिए, बट ऐसा नहीं है, क्योंकि अगर इकोसिस्टम बनाना है तो कुछ चीज़ें हैं जो सेक्रीफाइस भी करनी पड़ेगी, व्यूवर्स को भी, जो अपने फैन सपोर्टर्स हैं उनको भी, और टीओज वगैरह को भी सेक्रीफाइस करना पड़ता है कि ये सारी चीज़ें मैनेज वगैरह करना। तो मुझे लग रहा है कि फ्यूचर काफ़ी ब्राइट है ई स्पोर्ट्स का इंडिया में, एंड मुझे लगता है 2025 के बाद वो काफ़ी आपको ग्रोइंग स्टेज में दिखेगा कि ऐसा लगेगा इंडिया में, हाँ चलो ये है।
Great, great. That's great. So, talking about, say, the Esports World Cup, talking about, we've got our entry into Asian Games and Commonwealth happened and Olympics and stuff. And of course, it was great that we had a godlike representative at the Asian Games this time, not to mention, which was fabulous, with Charan Jyot, yeah. And I think we're all making waves and the country's moving forward. Having said that, the government is also looking at how to encourage the esports ecosystem. MP and local state governments coming up with academies and other sports areas and stuff. Do you think this is going to really help and better skill our people, maybe for competitive esports tomorrow, or overall build the community? What are the students or coming out of this? Where does this really reach in the world out there? How does it take us there with these things happening?
Well, which I have a very not different view, but yeah, I think esports in Asian Games and Olympics is great, but it's obviously had its own set of challenges in terms of what do you define as esports. I think the Olympics has very clearly taken a stance where they're going to have their own games. So, which means some of the games that we consider esports might not actually get featured at the Olympics. Asian Games, of course, is a separate discussion altogether. Some of the games that we play are actually a part of the Asian Games. In fact, we have somebody who's sitting there who was part of the first Asian Games. Abhishek is right there.
Please put your
You
hand
know,
up there.
he actually went.
Congratulations.
He was
Thanks.
actually
We're
the
glad to
first
have
one
you here.
to travel to Vietnam in 2018 as an
Wow.
exhibition game for League of Legends. Uh, I would say it's obviously positive for sure. I think any support from the government and any recognition does help just to overall grow the sentiment
Small
of
steps, I guess.
yeah. And but I can give you example from a learning perspective or what impact it makes on individuals. I would say I have two beautiful children. One is 11, one is 8 years old. I think the digital literacy that video games can actually empower our kids with, it's a phenomena that a lot of people have not explored yet in this country. Forget what it can do in terms of job opportunities and in terms of what it can do for you
Careers.
when you're like 18 and 21. But what video games can do for you when you're 8 and 10 and 11 is phenomenal. My son used to be an introvert all his life. And when he started playing video games, he started making friends all over the world. And today, like when I see my son at 11, he makes friends very, very easily. He's a much outgoing person. He is somebody who's extremely well read about the world, and he gets all the information from video games. My daughter, who's 8 years old, pretty much consumes majority of her music from a game called Roblox. And I'm like, where did you find this music? And she's like, oh, I went to this game in Roblox, Adopt Me, and my friends were showing this music. She has friends sharing music from Canada, and she's 8 years old.
Nice.
So we truly don't understand the power of video games and what it can do for our children. But of course, the lazy parents are going to be like, oh, this is not good for you. You're spending too much time in front of the screen. I'm like, yeah. He also sits in front of the screen and watches Chota Bheem, which is possibly the most rubbish cartoon I've ever seen in my life. So
Opinions.
it's the
That's an
perspective, the
opinion.
way you look at it, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think video games can actually empower the next generation to be better communicators. It can really help us create a very digitally strong next generation of workforce. I'm gonna say I was born in the 80s, so I remember 2010 onwards, suddenly every job required you to understand what the hell is digital marketing, and what is Facebook and what is Instagram. Like, we are old people, technically, right? I would say, yeah,
I'm young.
Cronton's
I'm young.
much,
He's
Cronton's
speaking for
younger and he's
himself,
much more
guys.
popular on YouTube, but it took us some time to learn that, right?
Right.
It wasn't easy for us because
Yes,
we were
absolutely.
never used to internet. Like
No,
kids
it
are
is a
growing
next
up.
gen requirement,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So that's how I look at video games, but I'm sure Cronton has a different point of view.
लाइक मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि पहले तो जब मैंने स्टार्ट किया था गेमिंग, तो इंडिया में ऐसा था, मेरे फैमिली में मेरे फ्रेंड्स वगैरह ऐसा था कि क्या कर रहा है ये। तो मुझे लगता है पहले तो ये थॉट चेंज करना चाहिए, क्योंकि अगर उस टाइम पे मैं ये जो थॉट थे मेरे फैमिली के फ्रेंड्स के, अगर उन पे ज़्यादा फोकस करता तो क्या पता मैं भी गेमर नहीं होता, कुछ और कर रहा होता। तो मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कि गवर्नमेंट को सबसे पहले तो एजुकेट करना चाहिए लोगों को। क्योंकि मैं अभी भी जितना मतलब कुछ लोगों को मिलता हूँ जो पॉलिटिकल बैकग्राउंड से, तो वो वही कहते हैं कि यार इसको समझ नहीं आता, मतलब कि वो कहते हैं कि ये इंडोर गेम्स मतलब बैठना, फिजिकल वगैरह, जिम वगैरह, ये सब इन चीज़ों को हम प्रमोट करते हैं। तो मैं वही बोला कि यार देखो, रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशंस आप बना सकते हो कि टाइम होना, जैसे अगर बीजीएमआई का देखोगे तो 6 घंटे तुम खेल सकते हो, उससे ज़्यादा तुम खेल नहीं सकते, कितनी अच्छी बात है। बट अगर जिसको खेलना है वो तो फिर कैसे भी खेल सकता है, ऐसा नहीं है। तो मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कि रूल्स रेगुलेशंस गवर्नमेंट ने लाने चाहिए कि गेमिंग को लेकर थोड़ा सीरियस होना चाहिए। जैसे अगर हम बात करें चाइना को देखो, चाइना में अगर आप मॉल वगैरह जाते हैं तो वहाँ पे ई स्पोर्ट्स एक अलग से एरिया होता है जहाँ पे आप गेमिंग वगैरह खेल सकते हो। इवन कॉलेजेस में वगैरह भी, स्कूल कॉलेजेस में भी ई स्पोर्ट्स क्या है क्या नहीं वो सिखाया जाता है। एंड दूसरा, अभी दुबई गवर्नमेंट ने भी काफ़ी अच्छा प्लान कर रहे हैं सेम सिमिलर स्टेज में कि स्कूल कॉलेज में ई स्पोर्ट्स के रिलेटेड अभी से नॉलेज देना स्टार्ट करें। तो मुझे लग रहा है ये सारी चीज़ें एक बार हो जाएगी ना तो लोगों का व्यू चेंज हो जाएगा देखने के लिए। ओवरऑल देखोगे इस इंडस्ट्री ने, गेमिंग इंडस्ट्री हो या फिर इंटरटेनमेंट इंडस्ट्री हो, जैसे काफ़ी यूट्यूबर्स हो गए हैं तो उन्होंने काफ़ी रेवेन्यू जनरेट किया है।
Okay.
अगर हम देखोगे गवर्नमेंट ने भी अनाउंस किया था कि काफ़ी हेल्प हुआ है रेवेन्यू जनरेट करने में, और 2025 तक ये बढ़ता ही जाएगा। तो इन सारी चीज़ों को देख के मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कि थोड़ा रूल्स रेगुलेशंस एंड सब कुछ हो जाएगा तो हमें भी मज़ा आएगा काम करने के लिए।
Of course. Great. Thanks. So I want to talk about now, the India international, looking at the scenario here. What are the kind of forward-looking growth opportunities that we could look at, right? So when we are looking at, maybe for an example to start with, should we broaden our horizons on the kind of one or two popular titles that everyone plays? Do you think with more titles coming in, more gamers, more loyalties, more players, and just the audience base becomes more vast, will that help? So how do we kind of move this forward? What are other solutions you guys can suggest apart from this being one of my thoughts?
Well, I think we need to just make peace with the fact that India is probably going to be a one title or a two title country. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, right? I mean, say I know a lot of other markets internationally where 2 or 3 games are popular,
Okay.
and it's not about one community is preferred over the other, right? It's just that's the game that picked up. That's the game that people loved in this country. I would say bad example, but like when I worked in mainstream sport, we had the same problem with cricket, right?
Right.
I would say everything went to
Just one.
cricket and everything else was like the bastard child. And I guess in the world of esports right now, it's probably going to be like everything's going to be BGMI for a very long time. And then everyone else will have takers, but it's not going to be the same as BGMI. And that's okay. So I would say level one, let's make peace with the fact that we are a one title country for some time. And that might not change anytime soon. Yes, new publishers are coming in, new games are coming in, they will get popular, people will play them. It might get to the level of a BGMI, it might not get there. That's okay with us, right? The second thing is the next generation of esports players or gamers who are currently early teens, when they have completely grown up with this cycle of actually having access to video games as and when they want, when they become the consumers, right?
Right.
That's where the game changer will happen, right? That's where we have partners who are currently discussing stuff with me where they're like, I want to start investing money today. I don't care about the ROI right now. I want to invest money in video games for the next 5 years.
Okay.
Because my consumer today is 16, 17. When he turns 22, he will start, when he wants to buy a car, when he wants to buy a new phone, when he wants to go and buy a house, when he wants to finance something, I want him to remember me. And for that, the seeds are born today. I'm going to say we have people from Ampuas who, is a company from Thailand who's moved to India now. They're doing a fabulous program for college students.
Right.
So there are other companies we are working with who are doing stuff for school kids.
Right.
So I think we have the required nuts and bolts in
Growth
place.
opportunities,
Absolutely.
yes.
I'm saying, I think the next 5 years is going to be tough work for everyone because people will feel the heat that, hey, the money is drying out. There is not enough money available to sponsor events. It will happen. But the people who will grind it, the people who will stick around, they will see the rewards. Come 2027, 2028, India will be a very different market. We will become, and I've always said this, we will become the second largest sport in this country after cricket. It will happen. And I will just make more money. So will Cronton. So will a bunch of other people in this room. And we'll be happy.
Great. Any thoughts there on?
सेम थॉट्स मतलब इतना अच्छा एक्सप्लेन किया है क्या
Great, great. So, Cronton, I have a thought for you. You know, from the content creator perspective, I think you'll contribute very well and strongly to the esports ecosystem. And there is a lot happening there. There is a growing number every day. Is there any light you can shed on what more you think can help build that community of content creators? What is it that they seek? What is it that you think can be a further, what the picture will look like, right? And how much of esports will be driven through content creators and otherwise, right? Anything that you want to throw light on there?
सो सी कंटेंट क्रिएशन में कैसा रहता है कि टाइम टेकन है ऐसा नहीं है कि तुम सोचोगे कि हाँ मुझे कंटेंट क्रिएटर बनना है और आप ऐसा लग रहा होगा कि नहीं इंस्टेंटली बन सकता हूँ मैं ऐसा नहीं है काफ़ी स्ट्रगल होता है मैं मेरी स्टोरी बताता हूँ कि जब मैंने स्टार्ट किया था 2015-14 में तब मैं क्लैश ऑफ क्लैन खेलता था एक मोबाइल गेम और मैं ऑनेस्टली कह रहा हूँ मैंने जो भी किया है ना मैंने एक मोबाइल फ़ोन से किया है तो तब मेरा जो फ़ोन था उसी से एडिटिंग करता था उसी से वीडियोस वगैरह अपलोड करता था उसी से सब कुछ करता था और 2 साल मैंने पूरा मेहनत करने के बाद मेरा फर्स्ट पेमेंट आया था 2 साल के बाद तो वो था अराउंड $100 मतलब 7,000 मैं घर वालों को बोल भी नहीं सकता था कि अरे 7,000 आया है चलो सेलिब्रेट करते हैं कुछ ऐसे वो तो बोलते क्या है ये 2 साल में 7,000 तो मतलब वही है कि जितना इजी ये इंडस्ट्री है बड़ी मतलब होने वाली है बहुत पैसे आएंगे काफ़ी सब कुछ सारी चीज़ें होगी बट उसके लिए पहले तो डिसाइड करना चाहिए लोगों को कि अपनों को करना क्या है अगर कंटेंट क्रिएटर बनना है तो पास जैसे कुछ कंटेंट क्रिएटर है उनके वो कैसे ग्रो करे क्या है क्योंकि अभी तब हमारे टाइम पे इतना कंपटीशन नहीं था बट उतनी सारी फैसिलिटीज़ भी नहीं थी कि तब जैसे इंटरनेट के एक वीडियो अपलोड करने के लिए भी रिचार्ज करना पड़ता था तब जाके 1-2 घंटे के बाद वीडियो अपलोड होती थी अभी कैसा है फ्री इंटरनेट है सब कुछ है कहीं पर भी जाओ मतलब इतना सारा चीज़ है बट कंपटीशन बढ़ गया है तो अपने अंदर जो स्किल है कि तुम कंटेंट क्रिएटर बन सकते हो तुम स्पोर्ट्स प्लेयर बन सकते हो क्या तुम एक वीडियो एडिटर बन सकते हो किसी का कम्युनिकेशन अच्छा होता है तो काफ़ी सारी चीज़ें हैं जो गेमिंग में कर सकते हैं तो वही है कि मेहनत करो एंड इजीली कुछ नहीं मिलेगा बस ग्राइंड करना पड़ेगा
So, one of my last questions now to you before we move on to something more exciting. I did promise that we were different, but it's not so different yet. Please hold on, we're coming there. So, given companies, and what do you think can be their contribution to further build the esports system and ecosystem in the country? And, communities and everything from the company perspective, where do you see that?
I would say that's a difficult question to answer because from a brand's perspective, yes, they will look at gaming and they will want to give back to the community, but at the end of the day, they will look for ROI, right? So with brands, it's always going to be a give and take.
Sure.
If you're able to give them enough and more meat to believe that they should invest in esports and gaming, they will continue to do so. If they realize that, hey, listen, I'm not really getting the ROI, then they're going to move to something else.
Okay.
With publishers, yes, it's a little bit more deeper, right? There are certain publishers who always looked at esports as a marketing expense. Those publishers are very, very clear. When the title does well, they spend money to market that particular title. Esports becomes one of the the ways of doing that. And then that's when the stipends and the taking care of the teams comes in, taking care of the players comes in. That model is only sustainable for popular titles. So if the title is not popular, they're gonna be like, I don't want to spend money on esports marketing. I would rather go and do Google ads or whatever, you know.
Sure.
So it really depends on the genre of the game. Uh, there are certain publishers who look at esports as a business vertical on its own. So they're like, no, we look at this as something that's going to make money on its own. And Riot's a perfect example for that, right? Like globally, I guess Riot's not the only publisher, but one of the only publishers that has openly spoken about running esports as a separate business vertical, where eventually there's a separate P&L for it, and they believe that esports for Riot will actually start making money. That approach for me is much more friendly because I believe that if esports has to be sport, it needs to get out of the purview of being just a marketing expense from a publisher perspective. Because that's when the investment comes in, that's when the long-term vision comes in. Uh, I don't want to take any names, but two publishers in the country ran very similar battle royals. One I worked very closely with in Southeast Asia, pure marketing gimmick. Absolutely know that the game is popular, make a lot of money. They will only invest in esports from a marketing perspective. They don't believe in the idea that esports is going to be an ecosystem on its own, which is actually going to make them money, right? Uh, yeah, that's pretty much. And then tournament organizers, for us, I think as Nordwin, I can say that we are very lucky that we have an extremely visionary founder. I think Akshat's already made the required moves for us to diversify. I think we today are not just a tournament organizer, but we also have a music arm. We've got offices in Dubai and Singapore. We also have Wings, which does headphones. We have Rust Media that does content. So we are in the business of subculture of video games and no longer pure esports. Esports is a tiny part of our business now.
Wow, thanks for that. So guys, we're going to now, the question answers from my end and information going to end here. I'm going to consider that we have two good gamers here on board, and I'm going to do a fun round, a quick activity. You okay? Yeah, water. A fun round and a quick activity, because I need your voice for the next, you see. A fun round and quick activity of rapid fire questions. We'll start with Cronton first, and we'll end with Nimish. We're going to see whatever they can show. The questions are going to be the same. Let's see if we can get some information and what makes it more interesting, what it is that they love about esports so much, and a little more about what's going on at their end. Okay?
No controversial stuff.
Chetan, I'm going to ask you. Sorry?
No controversial stuff, right?
Yeah, no, nothing. We don't get worried. I, in fact, kept them so safe. But maybe the next time we're going to do something more fun. Yeah, this is just going to be simpler fun. So, Chetan, it's going to be 10 questions for you to start with. If you weren't in gaming, what would it be?
Org owner
Sorry?
or founder, like organized founder.
Oh, okay, fine. The first game you played?
Clash of Clan.
Super. Favorite gun combo in BGMI?
M416 and off.
Okay. Favorite map?
Wrangle.
You're getting time. You need to go faster. He's getting time for his answers, you know. He's going to answer them because it's the same questions. I think I should have planned that better. Okay, BGMI or Valorant?
BGMI, obviously.
Okay, see, that's what's not happening right. Current playlist, song, singer you are listening to?
King.
Okay. 3 people you want to play with?
Like esports player?
Anyone, anything, whatever you want. Time's up.
Okay, Mahendra Singh Dhoni, Virat Kohli, and this Rishabh Pant, because they all are played this game. BGMI.
You'll win na, with them, that's why. But he's going to play esports with them. Cool. Okay, a ritual that you follow before you start gaming or you play for a tournament?
Like what kind of?
Like anything. Do you need to kind of, anything you do, you
No.
want to do something? No habits, nothing?
Nothing.
Wow. So you don't follow any ritual. That's his answer. Uh, if you had a chance to be one of the gaming characters, which one would you be?
Like, what kind of gaming character?
Any gaming character. Sorry, guys, all are scaring me there.
Hmm, uh, this Valorant, वो कौन सा character आया था अभी?
The Indian
The
Indian agent.
no. अरे वो water ये कर
Answer, guys. He needs help.
हाँ हार्बर
Okay.
क्योंकि जब हार्बर आया था काफी फेमस हुआ था वो कैरेक्टर.
Okay. So what you going to do once you step off the stage? Play next game, anything.
Play game.
Okay, there goes. Thank you, Chetan. I'm gonna be faster than that for sure. Yeah, now it's okay. I'm going to go faster because you've already got benefit. And I'll jump to the next question. You've lost. I'm sorry, you don't get that chance, okay? So if not gaming, what would it be?
Rockstar.
Okay, works. I have to stop this. This was a good answer. He's rehearsed it. He had time. Okay, first game you played?
Super Mario.
Favorite gun control combo and BGMI?
I don't play BGMI, but maybe M16.
Okay, so I know his answer for the next one. Favorite map?
I don't know, Erangel.
Okay. BGMI or Valorant?
Street Fighter.
This guy can't. Anyway, luckily there's no prize, but okay. Current playlist, song, singer you are listening to?
Guns N' Roses.
Okay.
Always Guns N' Roses.
3 people you want to play with?
Scout, Jonathan, and OS.
Okay. 3 people, content creators you follow? I
See, my
cheated.
kids follow them, but Socks for one, then Nodge, and Pindy Panda.
Thank you for that. That was a cheat question. Okay. A ritual you follow before a game?
I don't play video games that much, but there's a
Right.
very weird ritual I follow. Every time I fly, I always send a message to my kids that I love them and I'll see them on the other side because I don't know whether I'm going to make it. So it's just something I always follow. So
We're so glad to have you here. Thank you. You really made me feel good. This is like risky side of life. Okay. If you had a chance to be a gaming character, which was your favorite?
I'll be Ryu from Street Fighter.
Okay, I got that then. What you going to do when you get off the stage? You have to answer.
I'm going to go eat food and then I'm going to fly to Bombay.
Guys, lunch
and
is shut,
spend time
right?
with my kids.
Okay, cool. Thanks, guys. This was it. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time and lovely specials. Does anyone have questions? Actually, this. Okay, sorry. Okay, please.
Hello. So this is not working. Hello. Yeah, sir. One question, so two-part question. One is, what role do you see social media playing in esports? And the other is, how do you see regulations shaping up? Because we've seen, I mean, an adjacent industry like RMG get really badly hit recently with regulations. So how do you see regulations shaping up in esports in the future in India? All of this is from an India perspective. And what role does social media? Yeah.
I guess, social media definitely plays a very, very important role, right? I think anything that happens in the world of esports or gaming, it's a digital first sport. So it needs to get out and it needs to get out ASAP. I think what we've not discovered so far is some of the hidden platforms that normally gamers use, which have not been explored by brands. Discord is one, WhatsApp is one. We call it the dark web, where a lot of brands look at simple stuff like Instagram, Facebook, maybe I don't know which other platforms are there, Snapchat, I guess. But a lot of conversations actually happen in closed groups. And how do you kind of enter those groups is going to be very, very crucial, right? So yes, social media 100% will play a more and more vital role as content gets distributed a lot more and a lot more quicker. I think it'll be something that will move with the industry. To answer the second part of your question, what role does the regulation play? I think we've already seen the impact of regulation specifically on BGMI, right? I think certain tweaks had to be made just for it to be compliant and this perception that gaming is bad for you had to be removed, right? So whether it's just having the blood being changed from red to green, having time limits in terms of how long you can play for, and I guess eventually it'll also come down to monitoring certain toxic chats and certain ways people communicate inside the game, which is a big problem currently in China and in certain parts of the world where there's a lot of bullying that's happening in video games nowadays, which I think currently is unnoticed in India because it's kind of still under the radar. I think as the game gets more and more popular, we will have to be a lot more uh, vigilant about the fact that, hey, if our kids are playing video games, now instead of them getting bullied on a cricket field or a football field, they're going to start getting bullied on inside the game and in-game chat. So I think that's where a lot of work has not happened. But I think these three things are going to be crucial from a governance perspective.
Anyone else, guys? Anyone wants? Is someone there? We have a good follower. We have a good group. I think one of the best on the third day we could have expected. Not bad.
Hello guys, I'm Amit from Crafton. So I came here like you guys were speaking about sustainable esports ecosystem, and I found out most of the conversation was not relevant. So major 3 points I want to highlight is when you are talking about sustainable esports ecosystem, you need to focus on health and inclusiveness, incomplete industry standards, and then the immature business logic. These are the 3 major points for sustainable ecosystem in India. Apart from it, you could have talked about inconsistent industry standards, governance, and institutionalization, transparency of structures and revenue models, which might have helped these people. So maybe you can talk about these points.
I didn't hear you properly right now, but what I understand is that we didn't really speak a lot about the sustainability part, and we spoke a lot about other stuff. Yeah, I agree with you. I think there's not a lot to talk about sustainability. There's no sustainability right now. So
Yeah, that's the
you know,
point,
we can,
right?
absolutely, but I'm just saying, like, I can sit here and give as much as knowledge as possible from my perspective, but the reality is that we are still trying to figure out, like, I'm not the expert. I'm not like somebody who comes with, as I said, with a magic bean. I'm just like you and me.
Yes.
Where
So my point is maybe next time we think about these underlining problems of
absolutely,
ecosystem.
100%. And I think we can chat about this offline for sure.
Yeah, sure.
Happy to have a chat with you and have coffee with you. Any inputs that anyone can give us to figure out how to get this shit done, I'm all yours, man, because I've burned my hands many times. I've started losing hair now. I can't look pretty without long hair, man. So I need to figure this out,
Yes. Together,
Thank you.
obviously we
Thank
have
you.
to. But yeah, these people need
Perfect.
to
But you
understand
definitely had a
more.
valid point. Thank you so much.
Any other questions, guys? We're going to rise otherwise. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. This was an interesting panel. Thank you, guys.